What's up? No matter what your astrology chart says, no matter what your zodiac sign is, no matter what any of that says, your destiny is in your hands. It's up to you. But before I get into that, let me drop our introduction. All right, guys, I'm Queen Set Heru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, I love the thumbs up. Please give me as many likes as possible and pass this video on to somebody else who might be wondering about this particular topic. Also, please leave us a positive comment, positive comments only, in the comment section. And if you can, please stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to read you guys two of my favorite comments from previous videos, and one of them might be a comment that you left. And let me see, anything else? Oh, if you want to get a reading done, all of my information is underneath this video. So check underneath this video for my email, my social media, and all of my information. Okay? All right, guys. I'm going to read you today's question, and then I'm going to discuss it. All right, this person said, I don't have their name on here, so it must be anonymous. This person said, "Hi, Queen. I am really into astrology. I love watching videos, especially yours, because I get to learn more about the Aquarius sign. I did my full chart, and I have realized that I have the worst qualities. I watched your videos, and I feel so restricted. How do I overcome this?" Well, like I said in the very beginning, first of all, thank you so much for your question, first of all, because I'm sure a lot of people have thought about this. If you look at your chart, or if you look at your zodiac sign in general, you will see that we all have positive and negative qualities. If you do your chart, you'll see even deeper, specifically for you, what's going on specifically with you. So let's say you do your chart and you find out that your sun is Aquarius, your moon is Sagittarius, and your rising sign is Aquarius, like mine is. And you look at it and you're looking at the stuff, the pitfalls, things that can go wrong. Because when you look at a full chart, it tells you what things can go wrong and all kind of things in your chart. So when you look at it, it can be kind of scary. It can be kind of intimidating because when you first look at it, you're like, oh snap. I know for me, when I first saw my chart, I was like, that's exactly what's been going on in my life. Oh my God. That's what got me really into digging deeper into astrology, because somebody did my chart when I was in college and I was like, wow, so much of it was going on at that moment. Some of it hadn't happened yet, and it happened later, and I didn't even realize it was going to happen, but it did. So when you look at your chart, it can be kind of scary because you're like, damn, this is awful. But I was talking to an old astrologer, somebody that I've been talking to for years, and one of the things he said to me is that just because it's in your chart doesn't mean you have to let it get the best of you. It doesn't mean you have to succumb to it. Okay? So there'll be certain things in your chart that you might not like. Like you said, I have the worst qualities. Well, the qualities that you don't like, you can change. You can work on them. I'll give you myself as an example. I didn't like a lot of things about myself when I started on my spiritual journey. When I started, I was like 29 when I really got serious about it and decided to do priestess training and really change my life. I didn't like a lot of things about my natural, characteristics, and some of them do come from my sign. So what I did was I made a list of them, and I wrote down, and I've done a lot of these little exercises, but in many of the exercises, I would write down the things I didn't like, the things I wanted to change. So, for example, I'll give you one. Aquarius are not generally very good with feelings and emotions, okay? And I was just talking to a Virgo the other day, and I said, you know what? I can't take all this whining. And he was like, I was talking about a specific person and saying that I didn't talk to that person because they always whining. And he was like, she not whining. She's talking about how she feels. And I was like, oh, like, yeah, that's right, yeah. Because Aquarius are not always the best with emotions, dealing with emotions, expressing emotion. So at that point in my life, I realized that I wasn't good at it. Many Aquarius aren't, but I can still be better. I might not be perfect ever. I might not be the best at it ever, but I got better than what I was. I started to work on, I went to a therapist. I started to read books about emotional intelligence. I started to do things to make myself be more able to express my own emotions and be more comfortable with my emotions. I worked on it. So whatever qualities you have, if you don't like them, if it's from your sun sign or not, I don't care where they come from, nature versus nurture, you know? Let's say, for example, you grew up in a house where people did not speak to each other with respect. A lot of us grew up in these kind of houses where people yell at each other, or, you know, your mom cuss you out or whatever the case is. And it's not like a loving interaction. And some of the times it can be problematic. But just because you grew up in that, that's your nurture, doesn't mean you have to continue to be like that. You don't have to raise your kids like that. You can unlearn things about yourself you don't like, or unravel things about yourself that you don't like. So if you take a look at your chart or your zodiac sign and you see things about you that are true that you don't like in it, you just work on them and you can change them. Now, I'm not going to say I'm ever going to be the best. Like when I talked about the emotional communication, I'm a lot more emotionally sensitive now. I'm a lot more emotionally open now too. I still don't do well with other people whining and, like he said, expressing their feelings, but that's only when the person is manipulative with their feelings, which is the part that I got to with him. So I may not always do that properly. I may struggle with it. I may do it right, but it may not come to me easy, you know? So that's something that you definitely can change. Another thing that comes with our sign, I used to be very blunt. Okay, the way I said things, I used to be very blunt with my presentation. I never tried to say things nicely, say things kindly. I just said what I had to say and that was it. Over time, and that's a very Aquarius thing. Over time, I learned that really didn't get a great response from the people I'm talking to. So if I'm trying to deliver information to a person, a client or a family member or a friend, and they're not receiving it because of my delivery, it will behoove me to change my delivery. So that's what I did. I started practicing saying things to people in a kinder way. So after practicing it for long enough, I'm a lot better with it. I may never be perfect with it, but I'm a lot better than I was when I was 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, you know? I'm a lot better now that I understand why it's important, and I'm working. I'm still working on it. I still think about it. It's still something that I struggle with. So just because you have some difficulties with your sign doesn't mean you can't overcome them. You just got to make a list of all of the things that you don't particularly like, and then you have to find literature, videos, coping mechanisms, meditations. You got to look for ways that you can change that. If it's important enough to you, you will do it. You'll at least get better at it. Now, you might not never be perfect at it. For example, if you're a Taurus and you're very, very stubborn, you're probably always going to be stubborn, but you can be less stubborn. You see, if you work on it, you can tell yourself, okay, sometimes I'm a little bit stubborn. So the next time, you could even tell your family and friends, the next time I'm stubborn, point it out to me so I can really think about it. And they'll be glad. People will be glad to point it out, you know, like, you're being stubborn again. And then you could sit and think about it, you know, whatever your sun sign is, you're going to have challenges. There's not one sun sign that doesn't have positive and negative. So you're going to have to deal with them. You're not going to have all of the traits of your sun sign, but the ones that you do have that are negative, you have the ability to work on them to change them. If you're a Libra, for example, I was talking to another Libra, and a Libra was telling me that Libras often get in trouble because they can see both sides of every situation. And I'm like, it's cool to see both sides of the situation. That's not where you get in trouble. Where you get in trouble is trying to play both sides of the situation. So if you're a Libra and you know that's something that you deal with, you got to put coping mechanisms in place so that you don't do that to your family and friends. You got to think about it and you have to work on it. And again, it's not something that you may be 100% perfect at, but you can get better. And this is true of any zodiac sign and any negative trait that you have from your sign. So you just have to care enough to work on it. So whatever these things are, you said you have all the worst qualities. Make a list of all those worst qualities and one by one start working on them. One foot in front of the other. Before you know it, you will be a lot better, a lot stronger in many of those areas. Okay? All right, let's take a look at one of my positive comments from Emma Kamara. Emma Kamara, hey Emma. Emma said, it's the smile in the beginning for me. Yes, girl. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm always laughing and smiling. That's just me. I'm always doing that. Pamela Garcia. Pamela, hey, I tried watching this today. Oh, she's talking about cuties. I tried watching this today with my 10-year-old. Oh no, daughter, thinking it was going to be harmless. Sheesh. I was like, what's going on? Yeah, a lot of people told me that they thought it was something that was going to be for that age group, 10, 11, 12-year-olds, but it's not. It's definitely for adults. Definitely. I just, like I said before, that movie could have been great, seriously, but it needs to be re-edited. I would just love to see them re-edit that movie and take out a lot of the offensive, footage and be a little bit more artistic and poetic with it, I've seen a lot of movies that told very disturbing stories. For example, Precious. Precious told a very disturbing story. But when you watch it, you don't have to watch it play out on the cinema. You get the implication, or there's a line, or, something like that. There's one scene where Monique is getting ready to molest Precious, but you don't see anything. She just calls her and Precious gets up and goes upstairs. But you don't see her do anything to her. You just know from what she said before and what she said, when she told her to come upstairs, it's implied what's getting ready to happen. That's enough. I don't need to see it happen. And Cuties takes it to that place. It takes it to this level, like, I don't really need to see all this. Nobody really does. So, yeah, Pam, I feel you on that. I definitely wouldn't have let my daughter watch that. My daughter's 26 now, so of course she can watch it now, but when she was 10, definitely not. All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. So please come back soon because I have a lot more to say. See you later.